Hi guys, this video is showing you a little bit about Qualtrics. We're going to start with how to find it in My Denizen and then how to begin making a new project. So I'm in My Denizen, and up here at the top under My Apps, I'm going to click this drop down menu and I'm going to look for Qualtrics as one of the tabs. So Qualtrics Surveys is where I want to click. From there I have one more step. So this tells you a little bit about Qualtrics. This reminds us that the IRB has oversight of all our Qualtrics surveys. So what that means is if you're making something for a research project, before it can go live, you need to have IRB approval. That doesn't mean that you can't start making it before you have IRB approval. In fact, it's a really good idea to make your survey first before you get your final IRB approval so that they can take a look at it. Under here we have creation steps. So this is just some basic steps of how you would go about getting your survey through the IRB process. And that's all we need to know. Now we're going to go to Launch Qualtrics. This will put me in the Qualtrics interface. Now it's important to get here through My Denizen. The reason is that we have a university-wide subscription. So Qualtrics is a paid service. If you just Google qualtrics.com and try to start making surveys from there, one, it won't be connected back to IRB, so you won't be able to have your approval process. But two, it won't allow you all the features that we have with ours. So take advantage of that and get to it through My Denizen so that you aren't limited by the free version. All right, so here, the first thing I'm going to look for is to create a new project. So I follow that blue button and I'm going to look to create a survey. Now there are a lot of sort of prepackaged surveys and versions of things that they're trying to produce to help you save time, but for us, we want to make our own survey. And from this, all I have to do is choose a blank project and get started. Okay, from here, I now have an untitled project that doesn't really have anything in it. And so the first thing I want to do is label my project so it saves as the project I'll be creating from now on. So I'm going to call this My Practice Project. And once I check out of this, now my survey's been renamed. And now I can see that basically think about Qualtrics as having a bunch of different blocks like Legos that you can put together in whatever order you want. So if I want to add a block before this one, I add the little plus sign here. If I want to add a block after this one, I add a plus sign here. If I want to delete everything in this block, I click the minus sign and that deletes things. So let's say that I want to start with my informed consent page. So if I want to start with an informed consent page, then I'll add a block here to begin. And from this block, now that I'm in here, I want to tell what kind of information goes in this block. So I can change to what is called descriptive text. So descriptive text says there's no question involved. It's really just a bunch of words. And that's what I want for my informed consent page. Descriptive text. If you have something that's a visual you need to include, you would put in a graphic. And then for standard questions, we have a lot of different options we'll go through later. All right, so for now, I'm going to add my informed consent. So I'll choose descriptive text, and here goes. This is my informed consent page. Now, in order to determine that people are going to, that people have actually given their informed consent, I also need to include a question at some point that says, yes, click here if you agree, click here if you don't agree to participate. So for that, I actually need a question. So I'm going to add, after this, another question. And this question says, is a multiple choice question. Now I could change it to something else, a slider, a side-by-side, a rank order, but we're actually not going to do anything fancy like that. Multiple choice is pretty much every question that we'll enter, unless you have kind of a written text question instead. All right, so my multiple choice question says, I agree to participate. And then yes, and then no. So what I can do is, so it tried to help me out by adding another question here. What I want to do is I click on the little arrow here and I say remove this choice. Okay. If I want to add choices, then I just go in here and I hit return, and it adds automatically a new choice that I can type into. So I'm going to remove that one again. All right, so my first step is informed consent, describing all my informed consent procedures, and then I agree to participate. And after I've done these two things, now I can go ahead and begin my survey, adding my questions, adding my sections, and then I can add my debriefing at the end. All right, so this is it for now. I'll make more videos that tell you about different features you're going to need. But for now, let's go back and just check out our home page. So if I go back to projects and say leave site, now I'll see my practice project shows up in my home page. It has 2 questions, and every time you add to your project, you'll see more questions added. I want to share one more thing that you're really going to need as your group gets started, and that is how to add collaborators. So now that I have my project started, I'm going to click these 3 little buttons or 3 little circles and hit collaborate. All right, so now under collaborate, I'm the maker of the survey and I want to add 3 other people. So what I have to do is just simply add their email address. So I'm going to add my husband, Henshaw T at Denison, and everybody at Denison, since this is through my Denison, is going to show up in here. So use their Denison email address and you'll see their name pop up. All right, so I've added Thomas Henshaw, and then now I hit add, and it says, do you want to share this project? Are you sure? And I say, yeah, I do. I'm going to say, this is just for practice. Thanks. All right. Okay, now he can edit my survey, he can view the reports of my survey, he can make copies of the survey, and he can distribute it. That's what you want for your team members. You want everyone to be able to do everything in the survey so that you can all contribute and you can all work on the project together. All right, I'll hit save. And now if he logs into Qualtrics, he should see my practice project and everything that I change. So these are your first 2 steps for your team. Find Qualtrics, make a new project, share that project with everyone in your team, and make everybody in the team log in and add a question just to practice and make sure that everybody can get it. Okay? After you've done that, you're ready to move on to the next step, which is making all of your other survey items. All right, thanks guys.